I'm sure some of you are experts in Star Wars lore, but did you know that Obi-Wan Kenobi accidentally saved the Empire? No? Well, then try a Deathstick and grab a glass of Bantha Milk, because today I'll tell you the story of the Empire's secret lord and savior. Before we begin, it's important to note that this video is based upon my previous videos about the Battle of Coruscant and the Battle of Utapau. If you haven't seen them already, take a look into the description and watch these videos first. With that said, we can finally start. Our story continues where we left off in the last video. In that video, we discussed why the CIS Navy wasn't present at the Battle of Utapau and speculated where it could have been. My guess was Kashyyyk, for several reasons. Today, we'll look at the chain of events that would have happened if General Grievous wasn't killed by General Kenobi and conquered Kashyyyk. In short, the Empire would have been doomed. And with that, we are already at the end of this video. See you next week, and may the Force be with you. Just kidding. The short answer is still the same, but it's important to explain why this would have been the case. There are several reasons for the Empire's certain downfall in this scenario, and some of them may surprise you. The three main reasons are the internal and external politics of the Empire, the tactical approach of the Imperial military, and the strategic disadvantage of the Empire. Let's start with the political side of things. As we all know, the Empire was a massive authoritarian regime, and this naturally led to some opposition within the Senate. Some senators, like Organa, Chuchi and Fang Zar, followed Amidala's example and criticized the Empire's policies diplomatically. Others, like Mon Mothma and Legends and Gambel Iblis, were even willing to start a rebellion 1 month after the declaration of a new order. Many of them, like Zar, were killed by the Empire, and the others decided that it was too early for a rebellion. The main reason for their decision was the fact that the groups in the Outer Rim that fought the Empire were too weak. Many civilians in the Rim would have gladly joined the unified rebellion, but they had little to no access to military equipment. Some separatist holdouts allied with pirates, and others were aided by battle droids or separatist warships. But this wasn't enough. With Grievous' survival, however, this would have changed. Sidious maneuvered himself into a dangerous situation by allowing Grievous to survive the Battle of Coruscant. It was a necessary move, but it threatened his empire. Palpatine couldn't delay Order 66 since the Jedi Council was very close to catching him. Grievous' death at Kenobi's hands was a welcome development. However, if Grievous survived Utapau and Order 66, Sidious would have been left with only 2 options: allowing Grievous to resume the war or to betray him. Both of these options would have resulted in a separatist victory on Kashyyyk and a devastating offensive against the Empire. Remember, the only reason why the Republic was able to begin the Outer Rim sieges in the first place was Sidious' order to keep most of the Confederacy's assets in reserve. Dooku knew about Sidious's true intentions, but Grievous did not. Grievous believed that this order aligned with his diversion tactic. He believed that the reserves would be unleashed if the Battle of Coruscant failed. After the loss at Coruscant, Grievous prepared to unleash the full might of the CIS Navy. If Sidious allowed this to happen, his empire would have to deal with a massive separatist attack. But if he had refused to let Grievous unleash the reserves, the general would have realized that something was off. Grievous would have turned against Sidious after Order 66, and it's even possible that he would have presented some messages of Darth Sidious to the public. Although many loyalists would have not trusted these leaks, it would have resulted in a higher willingness to start a rebellion. I don't believe that Mon Mothma and the others would have aligned themselves with Grievous, but many other separatists in the Rim surely would have. Many of them might have hated the Separatist Council and General Grievous, but they hated the Republic more. And over time, more and more star systems would have rebelled against the Empire. made possible by Grievous' offensive against Palpatine. But the political side would not have been the only nightmare in this scenario. The Grand Army of the Republic would have been severely weakened by the death of the Jedi. Some surviving Jedi would have even joined the Confederacy out of necessity. The clones would have died faster than anyone can look. Jedi tactics might be suicidal for clones, but they work perfectly for droids. Imperial tactics on the other side were brutal, especially at the end of the war. But these tactics had the disadvantage of being harmful to the war effort. Brutal tactics are always in use when the commander is desperate and stupid. Throwing away lives and men is dumb, since you have only a limited amount of personnel. The CIS did not have this problem. Another important tactical advantage for the CIS would have been the return of the Jedi strength. In case you didn't know, Jedi are actually weakened by war, since the death of so many friends and allies disrupts their connection to the Force. With a droid army at their side, however, this effect would be nullified, at least until Grievous would have launched his genocidal offensive against the core. But the biggest predicament for the Empire would have occurred on the strategic level. Without Sidious holding the CIS back and a Confederate victory at Kashyyyk, Grievous would have had the opportunity to grind the Empire to dust. Combine this with the fact that Grievous would have probably saved the Separatist Council from Darth Vader, and you'll get a massive army and navy supported by some Jedi and powerful corporations that would have completely cut themselves off from the Empire. Coruscant would burn and the Empire would be crushed within months. Sidious would have died pretty quickly as well, since Vader wanted to kill him shortly after Order 66. Anakin realized very early that Palpatine had manipulated him, and he regretted what he had done. The only reason why Vader didn't kill Palpatine after the rise of the Empire was that he believed that Sidious was invincible. With the Empire rapidly falling apart, however, this belief would have disappeared after a short while. It's unsure if Anakin would have returned to the light side by that point, but it wouldn't have mattered for Sidious. The Emperor would be dead and his empire would soon follow, crushed by the strong fist of General Grievous. Unfortunately, this scenario would not only see the death of Palpatine and the Empire, but also the death of the active Force. Grievous' rampage and the Empire's desperate defense would have had the potential to create massive wounds in the Force on the scale of Malachor 5. Too many of them would have killed the active Force. Who knows, maybe something similar happened in our universe and the Force is out there, recreating itself. Okay, just kidding. But this would happen in the Star Wars universe if General Grievous had survived Utapau. But what do you think? Do you agree? Or do you believe something else would have happened? Share your opinion in the comments below and consider to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Until next time guys, may the Force be with you.